Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Dennis, and today I wanted to show you a quick little tutorial how you can enhance your Python development in Touch Designer by using import statements and type hints. So in front of me we have two examples. They are both very simple, and the first one is already done, and the second one we're gonna go code together. So I will show you what's the difference. So the first one is very simple. It is a player and it's a playlist, and yeah, I made it super basic and super easy, so we can dive into the extensions of player and playlist and take a look at what is available to us. So in the player extension, as you can see, we're importing, or like kind of making reference to this playlist comp which is next to it, right? This one. And then we have just two methods. We have a method of load playlist, which calls load method of playlist comp. And we have a play clip. And you passed an index. And in the playlist comp, actually clips is a list of clips. And so you select the clip index and you call play method of this clip. And let me show it to you side by side. In the playlist extension we have a small class clip which has just one method, play, and it just prints clip playback started. So we're gonna keep it real simple. And in the playlist extension we have we're creating a list of clips. Yeah, so we just create 10 instances of clip class and store them in the clips list, right? And then we just say that the name of this playlist is playlist 1, and whenever we load the playlist it just prints that playlist is loaded, and it has a property of clips that returns self.clips. Okay, so it's like super simple, and let's see if it works actually. So we can say this, and then we say load playlist. Sorry, I forgot the parentheses. Yeah, and it says playlist 1 loaded, and then we can say a second method was called play clip. Okay, let's try it. Play clip, and we need an index, so we would say play clip 2. And we can see clip playback started. Okay, so it works and everything is good. The only problem is that you see how this is not blue but white, and how this is also white, and how this is also white. This happens because Python extension of VS Code doesn't know anything about what is playlist comp. So if we say self playlist comp dot, and then you want to call some method of playlist comp, you should actually go to playlist extension and look up which methods are available and what exactly you want. And this is how I've been developing my Touch Design extension for years, and it was always a bit annoying because of course, like right now it's very simple because we have both files side by side and we have only like 20 lines in each of them, right? So it's very easy to navigate. But when you have like a real life extension, it can be like a couple of hundred lines of code, right? And they are all over the place. It can be hard because you open and then you start, okay, I remember it was something like load playlist, but was it like capital L, capital P, or was it load playlists, or was it like plural or whatever, right? And then you start scrolling and then you, okay, this is what I need. And then you like copy paste it and you're good to go, right? So now I will show you how you can actually leverage what is called type hinting and how it can enhance your Touch Designer development. So for this, we're gonna do things a little bit differently. Let's save this. Let's actually kill this, we don't need it. Let's save it. And now I'm gonna show you a different approach. This is the way I do my extensions now, and I really like working in this approach. So first of all, what you're gonna do is, so here I have example2, which is currently just the copy of example1. So I have player class and I have playlist, sorry, not the class, but base, but I have no extensions connected to them currently. So what we're gonna do right now, first of all, we're gonna create our extensions. So I'm gonna say player extension.py, and I'm gonna say playlist extension.py. Okay, so here's our two files, and we're just gonna copy paste this init thing from them. So player extension. And we're gonna say the same with playlist extension, so we're just gonna copy this. Something like this, and paste it here. I'm gonna say pass. I'm gonna say convert indentation to spaces. All right, so this is our like boilerplate code, right? Ready to go. So now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually create the base called local. And inside of it, we're gonna create another base called modules. And this is, you can read it in Touch Designer documentation, what it does. When you create a base called local, and when inside of this base you create a base called modules, and you put your Python files in it, what it actually do, it adds it to the source path. So whenever you want to import something, it will try to look in the local modules. So now the way we're gonna attach the extension would gonna be a bit differently. So here we're gonna type the name. So first we type the keyword mod, which is module, and then we type the name of the module, which is the name of the node in our case, which would be player extension. Then we're gonna type the name of the class that we want to connect, right? So it would be also player extension. And then we're gonna pass an argument of me, because as you remember, we need the owner comp, right? In order for it to work. Okay. So now, and we'll also promote this extension. So now you will see that it has an extension connected to it, and we're gonna do the same thing for this, for the playlist. So let's say mod dot playlist extension dot playlist extension me. All right, and I'm gonna promote this extension, and you see those two arrows now indicate that we have some references to local. All right, so we're ready to go, and now we just need start working with this extension. So first of all, what we can do and what we will do differently is that the playlist extension is fine. We can actually, I think we can even copy it like this, just with some slight additions. Okay, so we're gonna start with playlist extension, and here we're gonna make some slight changes. So first of all, we're gonna import TD, which is a built-in Touch Designer module. And then we're gonna say that owner comp would be of type. So now I'm starting using type hints. And the type of owner comp is to TD base comp, right? And we're gonna do the same here, base comp. Unfortunately, it's just gonna help us with a little bit of readability. So we're gonna know like, oh, okay, owner comp is actually a base comp and not just like, I don't know, timer chop or whatever, right? So this won't help us in the type hinting, unfortunately, because the TD is a closed library. We don't know I see it even has like a little squiggly under it because it doesn't know where to get the import from, but it will work in Touch Designer because Touch Designer know where to take the TD module from. So this won't help us, unfortunately, it's just for clarity, but what will help us is that, first of all, we're going to say that self-clips is of type list of clip, all right? And then we're going to say that self.name is a string, and then we're going to say that load returns nothing. And this, I won't go into a syntax too much because there's a lot of really nice tutorials about type hinting. I really recommend one guy on YouTube called Aryan Codes. And he gives a really great tutorials about like advanced Python topics, so you can look it up. But what we're going to do is that we're going to say that this property clips returns, it returns self-clips, yes? So the self-clips is of type list of clip, right? So we're going to say that it returns a list of clip, all right? Okay, so this class is now ready to go, and now we're going to work on the player extension. So what we're going to do in the player extension is, first of all, we're going to import td again, right? And we're going to say that owner comp is of type td base comp. And then we're going to paste what we had previously here. Like this, and just let me convert the indentation to spaces. All right. But what we're also going to do is we're going to import from, actually, we're going to import from playlist extension. And it's already, you see, we already have it here because it's in the same folder. So from playlist extension, we're going to import playlist extension. Okay. And now what we're going to say, and this is actually the playlist extension is the file name, and the playlist extension is the name of the class that we're importing from it. It just so happens that they are the same. But yeah, initially the syntax is like this. And so what we're going to say is that the self playlist comp, which is op playlist, since its extension is promoted, we're going to say that actually it's of type playlist extension. All right. And so now what's going to happen is that let's recreate this method again. So when we want to load playlist, we want to say self playlist comp dot, oh look, clips, load, name, owner comp. Okay, cool. Now it knows the content of this playlist extension because we imported it and we said that the playlist comp is of type of playlist extension. And now when we want to start typing, load, right? Can just hit tab and we open parentheses and we immediately see that it takes no argument and it returns none. Oh, okay, cool. Now I know. Okay, let's do the same for this play clip. So we want to say self playlist comp dot, now we want clips, right? So we say clips, and now we can say dot, and we can already see, oh, okay, it must be a list, right? Because append, clear, copy, count, this is all the methods of list. And we can also, actually, we can hover over and we can see that clips is of type of list of clip. Right? So we can say, okay, give me second clip, and then I say dot, and then what's really cool is that I see immediately play. And this happens because we said with the type hint that actually clips return a list of clip, right? And this class knows what clip is, and it knows that it has a play method. So when we say give me a second element of the list, it actually knows what type of this element is. So it can show you all the methods that are available to this class. So we can say play, and we can say parentheses. Ah yes, it shouldn't be two, actually, it should be index, right? So this is now exactly the same. Okay, now let's check that it works. And I had to change one small thing. Now the path has to change. because before it was just op playlist, but now because we're importing the playlist extension from local modules, this path won't work anymore, because it will try to find it like relative to the extension location, which is now 2 base classes inside, right? So it wouldn't work. So we need to provide the path like this. So we need to say self owner comp, and then to provide, like, you know, the base path, and then we say op playlist. So now it works. So let's check. Say op load playlist, and playlist works. And we say the same, but we say play clip, and the index of the clip before, and we see clip playback started. Okay, so this is really nice, and it's really powerful. It helps me a lot with my development, and it increases the speed of development. However, there's a couple of gotchas that I need to know. So first of all, in order for this thing to work even, you need to have Python extension, but I hope if you're doing some kind of extension development, you by now already have it. So you will need this Pylance and Python. So Pylance will provide this what called type hinting, not type hinting, sorry, it will provide IntelliSense. So which is this auto-completion and stuff like that. But it comes bundled with Python extension, so you don't need to care. And I never changed any settings, so I just you just download, as soon as you open any Py file in VS Code, it immediately pops up the little window saying like, hey, I recommend you to install Python extension in order to use it. So you just say yes, install, and don't care about anything. It just works out of the box. So that's the first gotcha. And the second gotcha is a bit trickier, is that imagine on the playlist extension now you also want to have access to player somehow, right? Because they are like interconnected. So what you will do, you will say from player extension import player extension, right? And you will say like, okay, now I'm gonna start writing some code dealing with this player extension, but now see what happens. Now we get an error, and this error says unexpected error during compilation. Please check for cook loop or recursive module dependencies. So this is exactly what we have. So when these modules get compiled, it tries to import playlist extension module, right? So it goes, okay, it says, okay, I'm gonna import the playlist extension module. So it starts importing it, and it sees that in order to import it, you need to import the player extension, which is this module, right? So now you have like circular interdependencies between 2 modules. And so how would you defeat it? Well, you don't. So like there are hacks, and you can Google it. You can like import some like type hinting helper modules, and which will let you treat these objects as not an objects but as strings. But I don't like this, so I wouldn't recommend it. What I would recommend though is you never create this circular dependency. If you in your design, sometimes it's inevitable. And in this case, my only advice would be not just forget about type hinting in this case and use it as like old school style, right? But 9 times out of 10, this is actually a hint to you that you have some kind of design flaw in your class's layout, because 2 classes shouldn't depend on one another. It's usually it's a sign of poor design. So you need to reconsider and try to change it. So if we take this example, it makes perfect sense that player extension needs to know about playlist and clips, because this is what this is the kind of entities that player operates on, right? But if you think about it from the clip and playlist extension standpoint, playlist is just a collection of clips, and clip is just an entity that contains some video data, right? So they don't have to know anything about the player in order for them to be workable, because maybe player wants to import them, maybe the UI library wants to import them to render like some metadata, maybe some files manager want to import them in order to save them and load them, right? So, but the clip and playlist extension themselves as just like a data storages basically, right? So this would be like the wrong design if you are, in order for a clip or playlist extension to work, they need to know something about player or file manager or UI, right? So this is what I recommend. Don't create circular dependency. If you cannot do it like you absolutely must, then unfortunately just don't use the type hints in this case. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have some follow-up question, feel free to ask in the comment section, and also in the description to this video would be the link to the GitHub where you can check out both examples, play with them, and yeah, I hope you learned something new today. Bye guys, see you.